Boom! What is up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about a few of my favorite small caps / growth stocks as we head into the second half of August 2022. All of the names that we're going to be discussing today, which are Unity, Matterport, SoFi, and Riot blockchain, are coming off of earnings momentum and or are announcing earnings in the near future. That one's just Riot. But I remain bullish on all of these fundamentally. I do believe all four of these names still have further upside mean reversion to accomplish. We'll discuss what that is if you're unaware as we dive into the charts, of course. And because I'm bullish, we will be talking upside price targets as well. And I'll give you guys a little bit of insight as to how I'm trading these personally. Okay, so that's the video, you guys. If you want to stick around to the end for some very, very special personal news, then I'd appreciate that, but completely up to you. Again, very, very exciting new member to the Waves fam, a very important member to the Waves family. So we'll discuss this more at the end. Stick around if you're interested once more. Okay, so also before we jump into price action and technicals, I do want to talk a little bit about upside mean reversion. And to do so, I do want to read the Trade Alert newsletter that I sent out on Friday and just celebrate a little bit right up front before diving into a little more tangible info for you guys, because last week was another amazing freaking week for Waves Capital. So let's just read through this and then I'll get into a little bit about why I believe growth stocks still have further upside, but also why mega caps and the greater markets, so the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, mega cap stocks, the Titans, are making me a little bit suspect, which does play into this overall analysis, okay? This is a very macro-focused market. So even if you're trading micro, even if you guys are trading some of the small caps like we tend to do around here, it's always so important to keep the macro in mind, because ultimately the macro is going to dictate the momentum and the general direction of the entirety of the market. Okay, so it's awesome to hear Friday closing out another amazing week. It's awesome to hear how many of you have just experienced your best weeks in a very long time. I'm stoked as a trader when overall investor sentiment is optimistic, but I'm stoked as a person and as a leader when my team is optimistic. So I don't really think of myself as a leader to you guys. I make the videos. I'm blessed to have you guys watching the videos and creating the Waves fam, creating this community. But when we're all doing good, you guys, this is a team effort. We are peers, and I love when you guys are winning with me, because it makes, money's cool, but being validated, being right, and being right with your team, that is what it's all about. Okay, so cheers to an amazing month so far, Waves Cap. More to come. And again, I don't want to say that the rest of August is just going to be straight up. That said, I do believe it's going to be predominantly green, and I do believe we still have some bull market ahead of us, just given the lack of macroeconomic headwinds on the short-term time horizon, at least until September. Okay, so we had a solid bull thesis heading into August. We equipped ourselves appropriately, and we continue to reap the rewards of our discipline. I stand by my theory that this bull market, specifically growth stocks, will persist over the remainder of the month. But after experiencing the level of gains we have over the past few weeks, it's important to keep a cool head and stay rational. Okay? We're extremely close to reclaiming levels of greed on the S&P 500 Fear and Greed Index. On top of that, the SPY is also approaching a very significant line of resistance on the charts. Once again, S&P 500 benchmark for the entirety of the US equity markets. There are plenty of days, especially as of late, while growth stocks, small caps have been outperforming mega caps, where the S&P is down and some of our plays have ripped. So I'm not saying just because the S&P falls, it's guaranteed that our favorite growth stocks, especially hopefully those we're talking about today, will fall as well. But it does create for a more fearful, more hesitant, less offensive, more defensive, obviously, environment. Okay, so that's just important to keep in mind. When we're in greed, again, great words of Warren Buffett, Oracle of Omaha, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Okay, so we're approaching greed. We're approaching kind of a manic market environment again. So just stay safe, you guys. That is the disclaimer right up front. So again, I believe growth stocks will still have further upside mean reversion to accomplish, but I do feel that the indices mega caps could face some hard times in the near future, which will inevitably create for some market-wide volatility. So again, Unity, I wanted to kick it off with Unity on the charts, because this is a stock that I feel is probably one of the most promising technical setups that I've seen in a very, very long time. Excuse me. Fundamentals are driving it as well, but very, very technically bullish for the reason of mean reversion, of upside mean reversion, because obviously we fell so hard. And that's why I wanted to kick it off on the charts with you guys. But let's close this out real quick and then dive into technicals. So for the first time in quite a while, I'm getting hedged and preparing for some S&P volatility. Okay, so again, you guys, the past couple of weeks, we've been long, we've been bullish. It's been freaking amazing. And cheers to you guys if you have been winning along with me. Freaking awesome. But if you want to know how I'm trading, if you're not yet part of Waves Capital, then join the team. It's the first link down in the description. 15 bucks, only 15 bucks a month, or 40 bucks for every 3 months, completely up to you. But you can always unsubscribe. That said, I'm pretty damn confident you won't be, especially with how our performance has been recently and how I trust it'll be over the coming weeks. So give it a shot, you guys. There's also, I mean, you can sign up for a week for free too, honestly. So go try it out. And again, I trust you guys won't be disappointed. Along with this comes a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio and or the Waves portfolio. And along with my updated portfolio every single trading day, I also send out my newsletters where I rationalize my trades. This is the trailer below this, which I don't want to get into for obviously privacy reasons and respect to my paying subscribers. That's all my trades below that. And then comes a price targets newsletter and a macro newsletter as well. Okay, so we dive into the charts, talk technicals, talk macros. That's every trading day. Okay, so if you guys want to join, then I'll see you guys in there. And welcome to the winning team. First link down below once more. And let me know in the comments down below, what is your favorite stock? Keep it easy. You can give me more than one if you want. But what is your favorite stock for the second half of August? And do you think the short-term bull market that we're seeing in the overall markets or just growth stocks will continue? And I want to hear your guys' macro thesis if you have anything different to say than we're covering in the video, of course. Okay, so again, you guys, cheers to a couple of great weeks. Cheers to the future. And let's talk about some of the names that have contributed to many of these gains and names that I also believe will be contributing to further gains throughout the month. Obviously, that's why I'm making the video. Okay, so first up is Unity Software. Unity has a couple of fundamental headwinds that I'll address real quick before getting into the technicals. An upside mean reversion. So Unity just announced earnings. They beat on their EPS. They're not yet profitable, but they did beat on analyst expectations. They beat on revenue as well. And they also recently just had an offer from, it's App something. AppLovin, I think. AppLovin is the name of the company. They had an acquisition proposal from a company by the name of AppLovin. Honestly, haven't even heard of them. Massive conglomerate, I guess. But they had an acquisition proposal from AppLovin for $20 billion, or 17.5, floating between 17.5 and $20 billion. That's word on the street. Okay? Considering Unity is now at a market cap of $17.5 billion, getting to the lower end, we're finally getting into that area. But that doesn't mean Unity is worth $17.5 billion. That means that that's the lowest amount someone's willing to pay for it. Okay? So that in itself is very bullish. Unity, from a lot of venture capitalists, from a lot of massive institutional investors I respect a lot. Chamath Palihapitiya being one of them. Freaking love Unity. They swear by Unity. This is like one of their reference stocks for the next Apple, Amazon, etc. That makes me bullish. That obviously shows that there are institutional investors who are interested in Unity, and their earnings were great as well. Okay, so that is the fundamentals. From a technical perspective, Unity has seen, aside from one day, broke this down in the newsletter the other day, aside from one day, which was Thursday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, almost 10 days of consecutive upside following that earnings report and actually leading up to the earnings report, which was good and propelled the stock further. I believe that was right around here. But on top of that, you guys, Unity, when we zoom out here, this is where the upside mean reversion comes into play. Unity has corrected so much more than so many names in the market right now. And this is, of course, this is what so many names in the stock market look like right now, and growth stocks specifically, which we cover, look like. No, it's down there. That was the bottom. So again, this is what so many stocks look like. Of course, all the other names we're going to cover look very similar, but Unity corrected almost 90%, okay, 86% from peak to trough. That, for a company at the scale of Unity with such with so much fundamental future potential as Unity, that's a crazy, crazy correction, okay? Very dot-com bubbly. But again, Amazon, Apple, part of the dot-com bubble. Apple at one point got down to a $4 billion market cap. That's crazy, okay? So it's very, very important to understand that these are the times when you jump in. These are the times that even if we don't see these levels for years, which I actually don't think we'll see. I don't think we'll see $200 again, and I don't think we should see $200 again for at least a couple of years. But if you hold the correct options, like thankfully we have made a killing with our options on Unity, if you can catch a slow market again, and this is what I love to see, this is what I've been saying as well, when you see a massive sell-off followed by sideways price action, and this goes for the inverse as well, when you see a massive move down or up followed by sideways price action, a lot of the time that is the sign of a reversal, of a macro reversal. Okay, in this case, we went sideways for a long time. This is the daily, of course, bottomed in early May and really didn't reverse until late July. So few months here, Unity was just tracking sideways. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility in here. This is a trader's market right here. But we knew that upside mean reversion is in the cards, and that's what we're going to get to right now. So sorry for all that. I do think that was all fairly relevant information for the most part, but it does all come into play. And of course, these principles do apply to pretty much the majority of growth stocks. So upside mean reversion pretty much just means that it was oversold, right? Something over here, this was overhyped. This needed mean reversion, but to the downside, okay? In the opposite way. You never want to be sitting at either end of the spectrum, okay? And this translates to life as well. If you're extremely polarized in one direction, on one side or the other, that probably means you're due for some course correction, right? So up here, again, $210. I'm not going to do that math on valuation. I mean, what, $80 billion valuation? Crazy. That's ridiculous, right? But where we're at now, where we got down to, I think Unity got down to like it was a single digit valuation for sure. So single digit $1 billion valuation also doesn't make sense. Where you find comfort, where we find true value, of course, you can find it in price to earnings and other historical metrics. But on the charts, at least, and we're just talking about the charts right now, is somewhere here in the middle. And just looking at Unity, like this isn't rocket science, but just looking at this, boom, you see a lot of points of support and resistance right there. That's about the middle right there. And obviously I'm not going to trade exactly upon this, but at some point in time, it seems pretty damn likely to me, even if you just wanted to set it and forget it for 5-10 years, at some point in time, Unity is going to get it back up to at least $90 to $100 just because it's a great company with a lot of long-term prospects. And we spent a lot of time there on the chart in the past, okay? Again, something gets overbought, which we obviously were over here, it's going to get sold off. And something gets so oversold, it's going to be bought back up. And right now, we're in the rebuying phase. That same thing goes for so many of these names. But right now, the important thing to realize, and that's why I said these are coming off of earnings momentum, or we're going into earnings. I guess these three all crushed earnings. I mean, Matter and SoFi, freaking congrats to us on those, you guys. Those were both up over 30% on the day of earnings. In after hours trading, those popped 30%. Not Matterport. SoFi did. Matterport went up over 30% the following day, actually 40%. But people right now, as opposed to a year ago, when everyone was just looking for a company, pretty much any growth stock with a cool story was going to do well, right? But now people are looking at the underlying fundamentals. Price to earnings ratios. Revenue, right? Is there a path to profitability for these companies? Are they scaling? Are they scaling at a rate that can justify them as a hyper-growth stock, which these all are, and have proven to be in their earnings report? So all these names, you guys, of course, I do take the fundamentals into account. But going off on a little too many tangents, sorry, guys, again, I'm excited, pumped right now. But I'm actually, right after this, I came home just to grab some stuff from the hospital. Then I'm going to go back to drive to the hospital, pick up Sammy, pick up baby, and come back here. But I wanted to bang out a video for you guys while I was just home grabbing stuff because we've been at the hospital for the past couple of days. But anyway, excited. Forgive me. Talk more about that after. Upside price targets for Unity. I think Unity is going to come up to at least this last touch point here before that massive sell-off, before just those multiple daily candles of red. The last little bottom, micro bottom, was at about 62.50. So my initial price target for Unity, like again, upside mean reversion, you guys, And already a lot of the stocks in the market that we'll see and that I'll reference, like SoFi for an example, has already come and tested some of these lows. So like, again, this March 2022 bottom, SoFi is currently sitting right there and did break above that. But Unity, even the May low, like, which is pretty crazy because most of the growth markets have at least reverted to that mean low, or the low they saw before the massive sell-off in early May, right? Unity isn't even there yet. So that's why I think from a mean reversion, like solely mean reversion perspective, Unity is going to come up to at least 62.50. And I do think Unity will make its way up to test the previous low over here, similar to that low that we just looked at with SoFi, the March 15th low prior to the bounce and then the massive sell-off. So the previous low on the macro downtrend does come to about $70-$40. So from a trading perspective, we'll actually dive into Matterport. We'll just dive into Matterport right now, which also saw a 90% correction, which also gave me reason to believe there was a lot of upside mean reversion in play. I do want to talk about profit taking a little bit, and I did share this with the newsletter fam, of course, but I figured I should share it here as well because this is just an insight, very general breakdown as to how I take profits when we experience the price action I'm seeing, because, of course, you don't have to be sub to the newsletter. It's so much more in depth, and I do put, honestly, way more time into this. It's a lot more care intensive, but this is pretty simple, and I do think a lot of you guys can apply this. Well, maybe I'll make a solo video about it at some point. But Matterport, again, same damn principle. 90% correction from those November highs. Matterport also got way overextended, did get oversold in their recent earnings reports, did impress in a big way. And it was so obvious that this was going to happen, and I was stoked. I was ecstatic when I saw this trade. But at the same time, it really wasn't that surprising because of, again, the slow sideways price action we've been seeing following a massive sell-off. Upside mean reversion is in the cards, and we did see that. You can see this right here. This is just for fun. I'll just show you guys this. Actually, you can't even see that far out. But very janky bull flag playing out. It's actually not a janky bull flag. It's a pretty solid bull flag that I do think will play out. Maybe see one more short move to the downside, but I do think this bull flag will ultimately play out. And then on the way up, now that Matterport is in breakout mode, it's surpassed the previous high that we saw in early June. We are officially in short-term breakout mode and have executed a macro reversal along with many other growth stocks. These previous areas that have acted as ceilings and floors, and again, you guys, a lot of times this is just eyeballing. Trading in an emotional market, even a technical market, because these, again, previous ceilings and floors become new ceilings and floors, and that's just look at any chart and go back in time, and that's just how it always acts, right? Previous levels will come into play as new levels, all right? You can't really justify it or rationalize that, but that's just how it is, and that's just traders are looking at it, and that's kind of what we've willed it into existence, right? Traders will these things into existence. So again, previous ceilings, floors, fairly symmetrical, which is kind of nice, and it just makes it for easy profit taking. So for full transparency, my Matterport calls, which were obviously on fire, as we closed out the trading week, did take 20% profits. If we see another wave up, take 40. If we see another wave up, take 60. To see another wave up to about 850, which is 850, which is kind of my final price target over the short to medium term, then I would take 80% of profits. Because I believe in Matterport, and because I believe I have some fairly responsible, fairly low risk options in the sense that the contracts expire multiple months out. These aren't like this week contracts. We'll be making a video on options soon as well, like my ideal contract, because I see way too many people, even some of you guys reaching out to me, trading contracts that expire like this Friday, and that's bonkers to me. I don't think anyone should ever do that. But regardless, this is how I personally do it. And these are my price targets for Matterport. Matterport just made a video about it, so I'm not going to get into too in depth about it. But I do still think there's more upside for Matterport. Let's cover SoFi, cover Riot, cover the OG, which is announcing earnings in the coming week, and then close it out with the Nino, with the little one, with Young. See if you guys can guess his name. If you guys don't already know, I think you probably do, but guess his name. Fully says it right here. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, you guys, haven't gotten much sleep either, so forgive me. But SoFi is doing pretty damn well, falling great. Like SoFi's earnings report was objectively, of every earnings report I've watched over the entirety of the season, at least in growth stocks, even mega caps too, from a growth perspective and scaling perspective, SoFi is truly a hyper growth company that is, like, in my mind, trading at well below fair value, even in a pretty beaten down market. Okay, so SoFi, so much growth potential from just a fundamental perspective. From a trading perspective, I'm eyeballing this right now, and I'll just draw it out real quick. It's yellow. Would have rather it been any other color, but that's all right. So, boom. What do you guys see here? Parabolic move up followed by a kind of symmetrical but descending triangle for the most part. So actually, we'll call this a descending triangle. I do think SoFi might come down a little bit prior to reversing and breaking out of this bull flag, which is obviously parabolic move, descending triangle, break out of the bull flag, and ultimately I do think SoFi is going to come up, test this conservative line of resistance, okay? And this is how I like to draw charts. You'll see a lot of traders go like that. That's how a lot of traders are going to draw charts. Is it possible for SoFi to come up here another 50%? Yes. Do I think it's likely? No. Do I think that this, which is a conservative target, again, or a conservative line of resistance. This is still an optimistic target, of course, so that's important to keep in mind. Optimistic target, conservative line of resistance. You'll beat the majority of traders who are newer to the game and just doing that, which is is always not the call. Never use the ends of candlesticks, right? Always use kind of the solid ground. I'm even going below that. So SoFi, I do think can come up another 30%. In the case that it aligns with my initial, again, just ceilings over here, bounce ceiling, and a ceiling in the past. I don't want to zoom out that much more. In the case that we can get up to just under $10. $10 psychological even, takes the profits, 980, 990. That's just another just kind of general rule of trading, rule of swing trading that you learn over the years. So I do think another 30% upside is possible for SoFi. And if we don't hit it there, I do think it's possible to come up, retest previous resistance on this ascending channel. As support will take a little longer, but ultimately I do think that by mid-September, SoFi will come up to the double-digit range. That said, let's close it out with good old Riot. Their earnings on TradingView, they say it's scheduled for August 22nd. I think that they're probably going to do it a little earlier than that. You guys keep in mind, I've been following Riot. As many of you know, a lot of you have been with me for the entirety of our Riot journey. If so, let me know how long. Riot in the past, and I don't know why so many small cap companies do this. I feel like it's a little unprofessional, honestly, but there should be a defined finite date in which they're going to announce earnings. Because NASDAQ says the 19th. This says the 22nd. I think Robinhood says the 22nd. It's probably going to be like it's probably going to be this week. I do think it's going to be the 19th. What's the 19th? This Friday? I do think it's going to come this week. So stand your toes, you guys. And following their earnings, which I did on the charts, paste in for the 19th, I do think we'll see, even if we go down a little bit, which wouldn't surprise me at all, come down, kind of fill this little gap range, this short-term gap range, and then make another move up following earnings. Ultimately, I do think Riot can make its way up to 1250. Obviously, Riot has seen a crazy correction even going back. This is how long we've been following Riot, you guys, over since way back here, which is crazy. Like, this is some of the earliest TradingView drawings I have personally. So, again, Riot from top to bottom is down so crazy, which is crazy how Riot actually saw a high. Well, like Mara saw its all-time high over here. Riot was way ahead of the curve. So Riot from its all-time high, peak to trough, 95% correction, staggering. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. We are now seeing, once again, that upside mean reversion. And I think that Riot can at least come up in the short term, at least to $11, because that was the ceiling Riot saw in December of 2020 prior to going absolutely bonkers in early 2021. So I think that will come into play. I do think that the $11 region, this $11.20 region that I've penciled in right here as the white line, will come into play. So keep an eye out for that. But I think they're going to impress on earnings. I think that Riot is a great company that got ridiculously and irrationally oversold, like all of the names we discussed today. And as of these three, which we bet would crush earnings, we are 3 for 3. So the trend is on our side. Of course, you guys could always be wrong. Riot has seen a nice little bounce, but I remain bullish. I think Riot can come up to at least 11.20. And in the case they really impress on earnings, I think they will see 12.50 before the end of the month. Okay? So, again, those are the names. Those are my favorite stocks. I always know you guys, money's where my mouth is. If you want to know how I'm trading these on a day-to-day basis, and you want to help with baby bills, first link down below. One more time. I'm just kidding, you guys. Please do not feel pressured for that reason. But if you want to be a part of a great team, be a part of the winning team, and hopefully make some great trades off of some great knowledge that is not financial advice, but learn from my failure, learn from my successes, and learn from my failures. Join the fam. Now, on to the big news, you guys. Me and Sammy finally had our son, and I want to welcome you guys too. I will show him you in one of these videos. Welcome, baby Ronan Jacob, born on August 12th, 2022 at 10:28 p.m. And it was freaking beautiful, guys. So, welcome, Ronan. Let's scroll through some of these. I'll show you guys these pictures. It's my son. My son. So, beautiful baby. Healthy. Sammy's healthy. The birth went so fast. It was like, from the time we got there, Sammy's a trooper. She didn't even like, her water broke. We were like out of here. And she, as soon as we got to the hospital, baby, no joke, from the time we stepped foot into the hospital to the time we were holding a crying baby, that was no more than, I want to say, an hour, 15 minutes. So it went super fast. It was crazy. Just appreciative to all the doctors, appreciative to the universe and everything and all you guys, because it's so much more of a blessing having a child when you know that the child is going to be properly taken care of. And again, I've been capable of taking care of a child financially for quite a while now, but I'm on a roll, have a great team around me, and have a great career and freaking doing what I love. And I appreciate you guys for supporting the journey. So Ronan, the meaning of Ronan is wave person. It does mean samurai with no master. It's a samurai who lost his master in feudal times. So he is a young samurai. Ronan's absolutely a young samurai. But it also means, the literal translation of it in Japanese, and I'm half Japanese, 50%, is wave person. And I figured there would be no more appropriate name than the name I've loved. Like some of my earliest art projects in my original clothing brand, my original business, the concept art for those projects was the Ronin. And Waves has been the brand forever, and this is finally the one that's taking it off. So again, thank you guys for being just part of such an amazing long journey of ups and downs. But Ronan Jacob, newest member and mascot of the Waves family, he's going to be the figurehead, and he's going to take over all this going on back here. Hopefully it's a lot more by then, but he is the heir to Waves Capital. So I appreciate you guys. Go check out the IG. Show Sammy some love as well. She posted some cute reels. And yeah, just very thankful for everything in life right now. I'll catch you guys downstairs in the comments. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace, team.